Okay, what if every step you took to get healthier didn't just improve your well-being, but also, your bank balance? It's a pretty wild idea, right? Well, today we're going to unpack a white paper from a project called SlimWorld that's trying to do exactly that. Turn your personal health journey into a real, tradable financial asset. So let's see how they're planning to pull this off. All right, here's what we're covering. First, we'll talk about the high cost of health, the big problem they're tackling. Then we'll get into the main idea, your health as an asset. After that, we'll look at the SlimWorld ecosystem, its token FITX, their roadmap to launch, and then wrap it all up with the big picture.
So, to really get the why behind this whole thing, we've got to start with a problem that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us face: the absolutely staggering cost of just trying to stay healthy.
And just to give you a sense of scale here, we're talking huge numbers. I mean, just one piece of the puzzle, those new GLP-1 weight loss drugs you hear about everywhere, that market alone is already worth over $25 billion. Now, you start adding in healthy meals, supplements, wellness services, you're easily looking at hundreds of billions spent every single year. The economic engine here is just massive.
But here's the kicker: the fundamental imbalance in how things work right now. On one side, you've got us, you and me, pouring our money and our incredibly valuable personal health data into this system. And what do we get back? Well, hopefully better health. But what's missing? There's zero direct financial return. Our data and our spending are the fuel for this entire industry, but we don't get a single piece of the value that we're creating. It's a one-way street.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? And this is where we get to their big idea. What if we could turn your health itself into an asset?
Really, it all comes down to this one simple but really powerful question. What if all that effort, all that data, and all the money you spend actually paid you back? What if your health journey itself was the asset?
Now, the tech that actually makes this possible is something called a real-world asset, or RWA for short. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital twin for something in, well, the real world. It's a token on a blockchain that can represent ownership of pretty much anything, from a house to a piece of art, or in this case, the value you generate from your own health journey.
So how does that actually work in practice? Well, let's say you've got verified health data, like you've lost some weight. That can be turned into a unique health NFT. Or maybe you create workout videos. Those could become a creator NFT, giving you the intellectual property rights. Even the money you spend in the ecosystem can generate tokens, kind of like a supercharged rebate. The bottom line is, every valuable action you take gets converted into a digital asset that you own.
Okay, so you might be wondering, how does this all actually fit together? Let's take a look at the entire SlimWorld ecosystem and see who all the key players are.
What they've laid out here is basically a complete self-sustaining economy. It all starts with us, the consumers, providing our data and spending, but it also loops in physicians to validate that data, nutritionists to create plans, and creators to share their content. And the glue holding it all together is a DAO. That's a decentralized autonomous organization, which is a fancy way of saying the community itself gets to vote on the rules and govern the whole system. Pretty cool.
Of course, every economy needs a currency to make it go round. In this ecosystem, that currency is a token called FITX. So let's dive into the tokenomics and see how it works.
The whole system is built on a total supply of 1 billion FITX tokens. That's it. This one token is the lifeblood of the entire thing. It's used for everything from rewards when you hit your health goals to paying for products and services within the ecosystem. So, the big question is, where do these billion tokens actually go? Well, get this. A whopping 70% of them are allocated to go directly back to the community. That's huge. This includes rewards for what they call health mining, which is basically earning for getting healthy, plus rewards for creating content and even consumer rebates. The intention here is really clear. Put the vast majority of the value back into the hands of the people who are actually creating it.
And to build trust with early investors and users, they've also put in some pretty significant lockup periods. The tokens for the company, the team, and their advisors, they're locked for up to 3 years. And this is a really key detail, right? It's designed to prevent insiders from just cashing out early and shows that they're in it for the long haul right alongside the community. Okay, so that's the what and the how. Now let's get to the when. Let's take a look at their roadmap to see how they plan to get from just an idea to a fully functioning global platform.
Now, the plan is definitely ambitious, but they're rolling it out in phases, which is smart. Internal testing is set to kick off late next year. Then the first half of 2026 is all about a regulated fundraising round and launching the beta version of their app, which is when users can actually start earning. Their goal is to hit 50,000 users by the end of 2026, with full-on community governance and public trading on the T0 platform, that's a regulated exchange for digital assets, all happening by the end of 2027.
So you're probably asking, how does this actually make money for investors? Well, the white paper runs a simulation, so let's walk through it. Let's say they hit their target of 50,000 users, and each one spends about $200 a month in the ecosystem. Okay, that generates $120 million in annual revenue. The Dow Treasury then takes a 2% cut of that, which creates a $2.4 million profit pool. And then a portion of that profit gets distributed to the investors holding the specific revenue-backed tokens. That's the model.
All right, so let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture. What is the ultimate vision they're trying to build here?
When you boil it all down, the ultimate goal is to merge four of today's absolute biggest trends: health, wealth, AI, and of course RWAs, into one single unified consumer economy. The big idea is to create a system where improving one part of your life, your health, creates this positive feedback loop that automatically benefits another critical part, your wealth.
And you know, their mission statement really just says it all, perfectly. Let health become an asset. Let every weight loss journey create wealth. It's such a simple but really powerful concept that's trying to flip the entire traditional consumer model right on its head.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final, much bigger question. We've just spent time exploring how to tokenize our health. But what's next? I mean, could we tokenize our education, our daily commute, maybe even our attention? Is this idea, turning our daily habits into assets, the actual future of personal finance? It's a fascinating and, yeah, maybe even a little bit unsettling question to think about.